So welcome. This is Eric, your national president. We just exited our closed session, the closed discussion session with the IBT plus region vice presidents was on a possible real estate transaction. And I have to just let you all know that the reason why real estate transactions are often done behind closed is because we're talking about offer amounts. And those we want to keep private so that the public, in particular the seller or other interested parties, are not aware of what offers we're going to be giving. But fundamentally, the IBT has made the decision that the office building we're currently located in on 803 East Pike in Jackson Center, that's a building, by the way, that was donated by one of our landowner members years ago. It's too small for our current needs and future needs. It needs a lot of work on it, including a roof. And we've entered into a purchase offer for the building next door, which is located on 707 East Pike. If you're actually were standing from the street looking at our current headquarters, it's the building to the right. That building is about 25% larger than our current headquarters office. It's modern. There's currently a bank in there until April 2024. And if the seller approves the purchase, if we're able to close the purchase, we will take possession somewhere in August. Immediately upon taking possession of that building, we will have the ability to have boondocking parking available because there's a lot in between. Lori thinks that we can probably now begin to offer our members probably 12 to 15 boondocking spots next to our office. That's a pretty cool benefit. Lori and the team will move over there after it gets updated. More information will come on that after the deal closes. Okay, so that said, we're going to go into our main session. We have had some changes.
Eric, I'm sorry, can I interrupt real quick? I'd asked all the board members to change your name in the email because none of your names are published. It all says board member. So please change your name on your Zoom app. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. So we're going to have some changes to the agenda, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to ask Brad Briggs and Christine Baum, who lead the Region President's Forum, to talk about it as well. Essentially, when we left Jackson Center as an IBT, we developed about 5 or 6 strategic priorities, and one of them was improving our internal and external communications. Along with that went a couple of proposals. They were reduction of the Blue Beret from 10 issues per year down to 4. And also eliminating the annual membership directory. There were some substantial cost savings. Over the last week or so, we've realized that we really need to step back a little bit and get some more feedback from our members. And we still need to try to come to a budget adoption by the end of July. And the region presidents have agreed to get together and talk about it, perhaps come up with some alternatives. And then we'll come back together again as a board in late July to see where we are and what the budget looks like. So Brad Briggs, do you want to give a little update to anyone who is watching or just joined us? And then Christine, you as well.
Yes. Eric, do you want to do the roll call or do you want to do this first?
I want to finish this. Thanks.
Got it.
A couple months ago, the region officers and the executive council got together in a discussion and came to consensus on the BRN, the big red number policy that I think we were going to look at today. And we felt as region presidents that we needed to have a little bit more input from our membership before we decided exactly how the Blue Beret changes might happen and the printed directory might happen. So we are going to come together early July with a meeting and come to consensus on what our proposal is, and then we can move forward with the budget.
Thank you, Brad. Christine, did you want to add anything?
No, just that a number of us felt that it was important perhaps to poll our members after we realized this is a membership benefit that is given to them at the time that they join. We needed to be clear with them what was going to change and what their feelings were about that.
Again, thanks, Brad. Thanks, Christine. Thanks, region presidents, for agreeing to look at this again. I think it's a fantastic process. Alrighty, so because of that, the motion maker, Matt Hackney, when we come to the agenda, will be removing some of his motions around the budget adoption as well as the printed directory in big red numbers, but we'll come to that in the flow of the meeting. All right, so that was a bit of a background. Now we'll loop back to the top. Terry, if you could do a roll call, please, then we'll get into the agenda.
Absolutely. President Eric McHenry,
Present.
Vice President Per Hamquist,
Present.
EC member Karen Fisher. She's still here.
Present.
EC member Millie O'Donnell,
Present.
Parliamentarian Joanne Miller,
Present.
Corporate Manager Lori Plummer. I see you there.
Present.
Immediate past President Ty Mott,
Present.
Treasurer Matt Hackney.
Present.
I'm here. Region 1 President Bard Fuller.
Present.
Now I can hear you. Region 2 President RJ Marquette.
Present.
Region 3 President Christine Baum.
Present.
Region 4 President Brad Briggs.
Present.
Region 5 President Artie Martin. Is he not here for this one? Okay, thank you. Region 6 President Larry Madden.
Present.
Region 7 President Ginger Slattery.
Present.
Region 8 President Greg Vadner.
Present.
Region 9 President Nancy Fitzgerald.
Present.
Region 10 President Kathy Giese.
Present.
Region 11 President Stephen Parr. Mr. Parr is not in attendance. Is there a substitute for Mr. Parr today?
Yes, there is. John Holly, first vice president.
Thank you, Mr. Holly. Region 12 President Laverne McHenry.
Present.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, we'll go to the first item, 5.2, which is a charter for Pride Streamers Intra Club. Tom Smithson, can you read the motion, please? Uh-oh. Lori, well, can you see, well, Matt, do you have another suggestion on this?
Eric?
Yes, so I think we have to talk about a change to the agenda, but also we do have reports, I thought, before item 5. I'm confused.
So, okay, so if you look at the agenda that we published, we removed the reports, and that's simply, it's what 5 of those committee reports. We posted this as a special meeting. It's not a regular IBT meeting, and as such, we removed everything that wasn't related to the special meeting original direction, which was getting to a budget and a couple of ancillary things. So also reports are been dropped, but if any of you would like to share one, that's totally fine with me. But I do want to ask that Lori, if you could, or one of your staff, see if you can locate Tom, because he's on for 5.2 Pride Streamers Intra Club. Okay, Joanne?
I was just going to say, if Tom is not available, the secretary may read the motion.
Awesome, thank you. Terry, do you have it ready? If not, we can skip around the order until you're ready with it.
I think I can find that pretty quickly. Give me 2 seconds. I wasn't quite ready for that. Why don't you come back to me? If
Okay.
you don't mind. Let me find
Sounds
it.
great. All right, we'll come back to you on that.
Oh, I found it. I found
Okay.
it. Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Terry,
All
if you could read the motion, please.
Yes, this is motion 2023-33. It is, motion maker was Tom Smithson. The title is Request for Approval of a Permanent Charter for Intra-Club Pride Streamers. Summary, motion for approval of a permanent charter for Pride Streamers. I move that the WBCCI Executive Committee probably should that be IBT?
Keep going.
Grant a permanent charter to the Pride Streamers Intra-Club per WBCCI policy 16.6.6 intra-clubs and special interest group. Purpose, approval of a permanent charter to the Pride Streamers Intra-Club. Background. A motion, we need a second. Sorry.
No, this is out
No.
of committee, so no motion is required. So-
Okay.
Okay, now you can continue.
No, you mean no second is required?
No second is required, yes.
Okay. Background, a motion was presented and approved by the IBT for a provisional charter for the Pride Streamers as a WBCCI Intra-Club on August 18th, 2022. The group Pride Streamers has now recruited members, selected their officers, submitted their constitution and bylaws, which were approved and met the requirements for a permanent charter. Financial impact, there will be no financial impact to the WBCCI.
Thank you, Terry. All right, without objection, this motion will pass as written. Do we have any objections? Okay, great. Without objection, this motion passed. Thank you, Terry. Okay, Matt, I apologize. I know what you're asking about. Back up to 5.1, quarterly financial update.
Yeah, so you have before you my report. I will withdraw my motion 2023-36 at this time in favor of delaying that until July. And it will be updated to reflect region officer discussions. Thank you, Mr. President. I will stand for questions.
Thank you, Matt. Are there any questions on the financial report? All right, thanks, Shaw. Election update. This comes from the Standing Committee for Elections. You can read it in there, but I don't have it in, well, I can bring it up. I think it'd be wonderful if someone actually just touched on it. Lori, would you mind, I know it's not your gig, but would you mind just giving read what Mona and her team wrote, please, on the Executive Council voting update as of, I believe, yesterday?
Sure, give me just a second.
And by the way, as Lori's bringing up, again, I have to thank everyone, the attendees, the members, and just all the work that Mona and the team did. You know, this was obviously a first for our club. And I know that Mona's going to come back to the Exec Council, I believe, our next meeting in about a month with any suggestions on changes or updates or some more background on how it all went. Okay, Laura, are you ready?
Yeah, I have it here in front of me, Eric. So this is an update she sent as of yesterday. Of the 16,581 eligible voters, 1,462 did not have emails on file, resulting in a total of 15,116 emails distributed and 2 ballots mailed. 249 ballots were undeliverable. However, if a member contacts HQ, the email can be corrected with the ballot resent. Of note, 147 members have now unsubscribed from the ballot, one of which sold their Airstream and will not be renewing membership in the ACI. 2,351, or 16% of the ballots that have been submitted as of Wednesday evening, June 14th, as part of the ongoing communications to remember to vote, an email was sent to all members who have not yet voted on Thursday, June 13th. The final voting result email is scheduled for distribution to all council candidates 15 minutes before being sent to the ACI membership on Friday morning, June 16th. The email will reflect final votes cast by candidates, announces the 9 2023-2025 Executive Council members, indicating which of those members are eligible to be considered for an executive officer position, and outlines the next steps in the officer election process. That's from Mona Heath, the international or recruiting her committee. I don't remember everything of it right now.
I know Mona isn't here, but are there any questions that y'all have about the process and next steps? All right, thank you for reading that on behalf of Mona. Okay, now we're going to move into our consent items, and just a reminder, consent items are ones that we do not discuss unless a board member wants to bring it out of consent and consider it through the normal process. So we have one consent item, item 9.1, which is approval for flag design for the Idaho Airstream Club, presented by Region 10 President Kathy Geese. And so are there any objections to this consent motion passing as is? All right, thank you. So without objection, 9.1 passes. Thank you, Kathy. I'm sure you'll let Idaho Airstream Club know. And
Do we
also,
do we need a second?
no, it's a consent.
Okay.
Consent items. The consent are done in the block. That passes as is. Thank you, Kathy. Joanne, just to make sure, did I miss something? I do this as often. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Joanne. And by the way, as you guys know, Joanne's fantastic. I'm going to miss her greatly. I always look over to her when you can see my eyes moving. You can't tell where they're going, but they usually go to Joanne. So thank you. All right, on new business, Matt, on 10.1 and 10.2, I understand. Can you talk about what your plan is with those?
Mr. President, I respectfully withdraw my motion 2023-29. But I would encourage all members to review the proposal that is a part of our agenda. I would encourage region presidents to discuss in detail the benefits of the proposal with their membership so they understand what it is we're trying to provide. And I also have provided the region presidents and all the region officers information regarding options. And I understand they'll be having a meeting to discuss the budgetary impacts of those various options. And I will respectfully incorporate what they communicate back to me. Regarding item 10.2, I respectfully withdraw motion 2023-30 as well, which is elimination of the print directory and reduction in blue beret issues. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks, Matt, and for the finance team. Again, as I mentioned, I'm extremely supportive of this approach. It is a lot of work for the finance team to recrunch the numbers, but that's what they're here for. And thank you for all the work on that over the weekend. I appreciate that, Matt and Alan, a lot. Okay, item 10.3, travel reimbursement policy change. Matt, if you can read the motion, please. Oh, I'm sorry, I have a hand up. Sean?
Hey, thanks, Eric. This goes back to the election. I guess I was surprised to hear only 16%. And I'm sure you all have talked about it, and I am brand new to this. I'm just wondering what else we could have done to hear only 23 members out of 15,000. I guess that just surprised me. And maybe it's a conversation for a later time. So be that as it may.
Thanks, Sean. Lori, go ahead.
Yeah, I can comment. So Sean, actually, it's not surprising. It's normally about the number of members that we have vote. And actually, I feel like this round of voting, I hate to use the word pelted, but every email has been sent at least six reminders to vote, along with the social posts, the general emails, all of the region presidents reminding their people. So honestly, I think a lot of them really don't want to get involved in the politics of the club. They just want to be part of the club. And I think that's why the percentage is as it is.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. And also, Sean, you probably know this, the 20%, that's sort of common for local elections, school district elections, name it, unfortunately. But we will be having a relook at this. I may have mentioned earlier, Mona and her team, again, this was so new this time. They're going to take a look at it, come back to the exec council as well as the board probably in a couple of months and just talk through any learnings from it. I'm sure we'll hear some feedback from our members about did it work well, was it easy to use, but yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so back to 10.3, travel reimbursement policy change. Matt, if you could read the motion, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Modification of travel reimbursement policy. I move that policy 16.6.3 financial disbursements items B5 and E be deleted and new policy items B5 and E be inserted.
Thanks, Matt. And do we have a second for that? All right, I see Karen Fisher. Thank you for seconding. All right, Matt, if you could read the purpose, background, and financial impact, please.
The current policy provides for budgeting of travel expenses and reimbursements for air travel, hotel, and rental car expenses. The wording limits reimbursement to the sum of the amounts which would be calculated using ground travel. The proposed changes would clarify that in some cases, travel by common carrier, parens, economy class or equivalent, close parens, rental car, and motel hotel at the destination can be used for budgeting and reimbursement. Further, the proposed changes allow reimbursement of travel expenses in excess of budget for one or more individuals, provided the expenses are deemed appropriate and reasonable by the international treasurer, and the total expense reimbursement for that account remains within the approved budget. Financial impact. The proposed changes may result in small increases in yearly travel budgets and expenses. However, the amount will not, in any case, exceed the budget approved by the IBT.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, let's have some discussion. And this is a big change. I know the travel reimbursement has been something that we've all had questions about. So questions first from the Exec Council. Millie O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Matt, I just have one question that may be just minutia, but in the proposal, it says, and I'm not looking at it right here, but from memory, it says that the reimbursements will be reviewed or approved by the treasurer. I'm assuming that's normal policy. Every time somebody submits a travel thing, the treasurer has to review it, correct? It's not something the entire financial committee does, or does Lori just take care of that and make sure things are done by policy? And if there's a bigger question, then it comes to the treasurer.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Millie, by policy, if the requested reimbursement and the receipts are in order, Lori does not go to the president. I'm sorry, to the treasurer. However, if there is a question or it's in excess of the budgeted amount, she does go to the treasurer. Under current policy, the treasurer does not have the ability to grant an amount in excess of budget. This would give the treasurer some latitude in that respect.
Perfect. That clarifies. That's exactly what I needed to understand. Thank you.
Thanks, Millie. Thanks, Pat. Other questions from the Exec Council? All right, from the region presidents.
Mr. President, if I may
yes.
add one comment, and that is, if anyone ever believes they should have been granted an reimbursement in excess of the budgeted amount, you always have the right to ask that the treasurer go back to the IBT for approval of the specific reimbursement. So keep that in mind. You always have that right, even if we're out of budget for the entire event.
Thanks, Pat. Okay, any other questions from the region presidents or region vice presidents? All righty, so then without objection, motion 2.23.35 Hackney modification of travel reimbursement passes as read. Are there any objections? All right, so done, so moved. We're all done on that. Thank you, Matt, for again, I don't know if you all realize this, but not the treasurer's a thankless job, but Matt has done a tremendous amount of work on that in terms of just the structure of the policies, but also working with the region presidents and sometimes vice presidents on travel stuff. And thank you, Matt. I've just done a fantastic job. That's it for today. As I mentioned earlier, this is a special meeting, so I'm going to be dispensing with any stuff relative to these items. But if there are any region president updates that are critical, love to hear them now. Otherwise, I will adjourn the meeting. Any updates from region presidents that you'd like to share? Matt?
I simply wanted to encourage the region presidents and the even numbered first vice presidents to contact me if they have any questions regarding the budget or budget options, either in advance of or following their meeting to discuss the budget. I'd really like to get this done.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, just in closing, just to remind everyone, and particularly the audience, if there's audience out there, we really need to hear your feedback on the proposals of what we do with the Blue Beret and what we do with the membership directory. The region presidents are meeting again in a couple of weeks. They are the people, they are your representatives. They have the best understanding and knowledge of the local clubs and y'all in the region. So please reach out to them with your thoughts. They're looking forward, and thank you all for taking that effort. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.